What's going on, everyone? I'm back here with another video, and in this video I'm going to be giving you guys a look at the newly released iOS 10.3 update that was just released today. And this update does include many new features as well as many much needed bug fixes as well. So I have been using this update for the past several hours on an iPhone 5S, and so far the performance actually has been very good. The overall speed and fluidity of the system seems to be very fast, and I have not seemed to experience any hiccups or any slowdowns or crashes at this point in time. So that's actually an improvement over the previous 10.2.1 where I just came from. On 10.2.1, I was experiencing lots of device slowdowns, and a lot of my applications were crashing, and just the overall system performance was very poor. So 10.3 has improved greatly with system performance on the 5S. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first and most notable feature is something called Find My AirPods, which essentially allows you to locate your AirPods if you happen to lose them. So it's essentially the same thing as the Find My iPhone, where you can locate your device on a map and play a sound so you can find it. So that's really nice. And it basically works within the Find My iPhone application here. Another big change is the fact that Apple has now modified the file system and has gone from HFS to APFS, which is essentially called Apple File System. So this is actually a welcome change because the HFS file system is over 30 years old and was used on the old Macintosh computers years and years ago. So it's actually really nice that Apple has finally updated the file system on iOS to be a little bit more modern and be a little bit better optimized. Next up are several improvements and new features regarding Siri. So firstly, there is now support for paying and checking status of bills for supported payment applications. Next is support for scheduling a ride within a booking application, such as Uber or Lyft. This next one involves Siri within CarPlay, so you can now check your car's fuel status, lock status, turning on the lights, as well as activating the horn, all within Siri. Within the CarPlay. And lastly, within Siri, you can now check cricket sports scores and statistics. So let's go ahead and give a demonstration of that now. Check cricket sports scores.
Cricket coming up. Here's the ICC schedule between last Saturday and tomorrow.
And as you can see, Siri can now give you the cricket sports scores, and you can scroll through here and see all the scores for all the different teams. Alright, moving on. This next few features involves CarPlay. So you now have shortcuts within the status bar for easy access to your most recently and or last used applications. Next is Apple Music Now Playing screen will give you access to Up Next. And lastly, you now get daily curated playlist as well as new music categories within the music application via CarPlay. Alright, so now the next several features are involving bug fixes and some minor tweaks that have been added. So first off, you now have Rent Once, which is essentially allows you to get the ability to rent a movie or TV show and watch it across all of your iOS and or Mac devices. Next, you have new unified settings for your Apple ID within the Settings application. So if we jump into Settings, you can see we now have a unified section for all of your Apple ID settings. So if we tap in here, you can see you can change a lot of your settings within your iCloud and or Apple ID account straight from here. So that's a super nice thing to have and makes things much more convenient. Next, you can now get hourly weather within Maps using 3D Touch. Now, I cannot give this demonstration because this is a 5S and does not support the 3D Touch feature, but to give a reference to kind of what it is I'm talking about, so if I scroll into a location, as you can see here on the bottom right corner, we have the weather. So if you had a device that supports 3D Touch, you can 3D Touch right on that weather icon there, and it would pop up a daily forecasts so you can see the weather for that particular location without needing to go to the weather application itself. Next is support for searching parked cars within the Maps application. So if you happen to have a parked car within the Maps, you can search it and find your different cars that you have parked around different locations. Next, Calendar now adds the ability to delete an unwanted invite and report it as junk. So essentially, if you receive an invite from someone that you don't know, or someone that kind of is spamming invites for you, you can easily remove it and then report that particular invite as junk, so you can no longer have to mess with it anymore. And it will also report it to Apple to let them know that that person is spamming you. Next involves the HomeKit, and Home app has support for accessory battery level status, so you can check the battery level of your connected home devices. Next up involves podcasts. So the podcast application has actually been completely redesigned, and it looks much more similar to what we have with the Apple Music, with the music application. So if I jump in here, you can see right away that the music or the podcast application has been slightly redesigned, which is really nice. So if you go to featured, so as you can see, there is a slight change to the user interface. There's also now 3D touch support for devices that use that within the application, as well as there now being a today widget. So if we go over to the today section and scroll down and hit edit for the widgets, you can now see we have a podcasts widget that you can now add. So if we tap on that, hit done, we now have a podcasts widget within the today view. And the last two things involve a couple bug fixes. So first off, there has now been a fix that could prevent maps from displaying your current location. And lastly, you have voiceover stability for phone, Safari, and Mail. So that's basically all of the features and bug fixes that I have come across within the iOS 10.3 update. But yeah, that's basically it for this video. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Make sure to hit that subscribe button right down below. It's greatly appreciated. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button as well. That's also greatly appreciated. And again, if you guys have any questions, comments, or anything of such, drop those in the section below, and I'll get back to them as soon as I possibly can. So yeah, with that all being said, once again, hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.